All right, in round one, we're going to keep this hand. We have no green mana, but we've got Skeleton into Stromkirk Condemned, which is not too bad. Aha, Crop Sigil, you say. So we'll play the Skeleton. It's not a big deal. Aha, so mirror match? You know, I thought our deck was... I mean, maybe it's not the mirror match, but green-black Delirium is kind of what it looks like. Ooh, Crop Sigil Groundskeeper synergy. That's kind of cool. I like that, actually. All right. So I can just kill Groundskeeper with Borrowed Malevolence. Seems a bit like a waste right now, since I can just play the Condemned. I wish Elite was just a bit sexier right now, but that's all right. Maybe blue-green. Off their second color, whatever it is, but then again, so are we. All right. So we swing with both. All right. And we'll play the Elite. Play the old 3-mana 1/1. What a beater. All right. The old Scarecrow. All right. No problem. Hey, green mana. So what do we want to do here? We can, let's see. I think we just go Concoction Howler, pass. I mean, I can swing with the Condemned. Yeah, I probably want to do that, actually. Well, let's see. I plus this, I minus this. It's 3/3 versus 3/3 still, so I'd have to discard another card. Not in love with that. Especially since I don't want to discard any of these cards. I could just make that trade. It gives my opponent Delirium, though, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It gives him a third card type, though. Do I want a 2-for-1 myself right now? It pumps my Elite. How important is Condemned right now? It's not, like, super important. Am I willing to lose a Condemned? Plus not be able to play anything else? It's not great. Maybe let's just set up for... Let's just do these two and pass. I don't really like 2-for-1ing myself. I mean, granted, my opponent may not block, but it feels like they probably block there. There's really not a good reason why they wouldn't block there. What's the top of our curve again? Scavenger, Throttle, Certain Death. All right. Block with the Skelly. It's actually really nice, because now we can return Skeleton and use Concoction for value. Sure. Okay, my other option is ditch the land to concoction. Borrowed malevolence there. Then I have to trade my elite for a foul blood. I'm totally willing to trade my condemned for a foul blood, by the way. But I don't even want to. I don't want to give my opponent the option to block with. To block the Shrill Howler. I want to play the land though. What can I do here? What's like the optimum play? I don't even have to use concoction. That's kind of nice. I'm trying to think what my opponent probably blocks with. I feel like they block the Shrill Howler with the Foul Blood though. Seems like a logical block. And then I'm just one land away from being able to transform it. Well, I want to attack with everything here, so let's attack with everything. I'm going to see how my opponent blocks. I do think they're going to block the Howler, but I might just have to accept it. They could also block the Elite, which would be good. Because then we can Borrowed Malevolence the Foul Blood. Alright, so they kind of blocked how we thought they would. Sadly, I can't Borrowed Malevolence my way out of this, can I? I can make this a 4-2 and this a 2-1. But that's not good enough. So we're just going to let this happen like this. And we want to play the land, right? Because then we can return Skeleton and play Captive, which is pretty good. So let's do that. It does make this guy weaker, but I want the Skeleton for Sinister Concoction. As well as the Stromkirk Condemned, I suppose. Well, the nice news is I can flip my Captive with one more land, which is pretty good. My opponent can go to town with Groundskeeper at any point, but we're a little bit ahead on the board. Not much, admittedly. It's kind of an odd attack from our opponent with that Geistfield Scarecrow, I would say. All right, still just swinging for the fences, which I'm okay with. I mean, I guess if you fear the concoction, all right. Just getting a little bit of card value out of that Groundskeeper, which is fine. Might be time to just use the Borrowed Malevolence. Another Foul Blood, you say. All right. Well, I would prefer to not use a concoction on that, but it looks like I probably won't have to. So, all right. So this land lets us flip the Captive, so we're not going to ditch that. We're going to ditch the Skeleton to the concoction. So let's swing with both of these. See if our opponent blocks. Ooh. This is a spicy meatball. So let's use the Malevolence. Well, actually, this is cool. This is really cool. So we boost this guy, neg that guy. And then we use Concoction to kill this guy. Ditch that. So then that's out of range. We also got rid of a Macabre Waltz, unfortunately, but we do have Delirium. And we'll play the land, and we can actually return the Skeleton, which is pretty slick. We'll see if we want to. It does make our Elite weaker. Opponent's got Delirium now, so they can bring back the Scarecrow and a land, I suppose. What do they have? Creature, artifact, land, sorcery. So I guess if they return the artifact, they lose Delirium, but maybe they don't need it anymore. So Skeleton weakens this, but turns this guy into something. Gives us a couple options. Wish I had Macabre Waltz. I want to bring back my Shrill Howler. Do still have a grapple with the past here somewhere. Alright, bringing back Scavenger. I see. Because he wants to keep Delirium, which does make sense. Alright, so I guess we will bring back the Skeleton here. Scavenger can bring back the Howler. That's pretty slick. So we're going to do that instead of flipping our... Although... Yeah, I guess actually it's a good time to flip the Captive. The reason that it's a good time to flip the Captive... Well, it plays around Murderous Compulsion if I... I'm just going to do it now. I don't care. Murderous Compulsion is going to happen anyway. So now we pass... Alright, taking 3. Okay. We go to 9. Elite gets bigger. Rancid Rats. Yeah, Rancid Rats pretty good here, actually. Alright, so we have a land which does what? I don't think it does all that much anymore, right? What does land do? Lets us discard to the Stromkirk Condemned. Gets us closer to hardcasting a Distended Mindbender, which actually isn't bad. And other than that, lets us flip a Captive without having to use it, which also isn't bad. We're already gone on Macabre Waltz, on Sinister Concoction, so those don't matter. Helps us with Skurzdag Supplicant, but we're behind a little bit now. So, I think we actually just swing with the Stromkirk Condemned. And then we play Skeleton plus Scavenger. Probably just bring back the Shrill Howler. Although the Captive might just be better because... I think the Captive might just be better. Because it can actually attack into the Scavenger, and the Shrill Howler cannot. So let's play our land, let's play the Skeleton. Let's play the Scavenger. Although the Captive can't attack into the Rats. That's a bit of a dilemma. Alright, for that reason we're actually going to take the Shrill Howler. And the reason is, he can't kill it with the Scavenger. Opponent can't kill it with the Scavenger, but... More importantly, we have Cultist Staff in here, so that'll let us attack past pretty much everything if we draw that. Alright, I kind of want to double block here, but I think we'll just block. I could double block with the Scavenger and the Skeleton. And then we lose our Scavenger for a... Or we lose our... But we have Graph Rats in here. We're just going to block with the Skeleton. We're not in a huge hurry here. No play from our opponent. All right. Deadweight. Well, it's pretty good. Let's do that. All right. So we can bring back the skeleton and discard it to that. It doesn't change the clock though, so I think it's actually smarter to just get our damage in. Play the Shrill Howler and pass. I'd be surprised if our opponent attacked here. What would they have? They'd have to have something that plays multiple creatures. Wow. That is ballsy. Very ballsy. What do we got? What do we have to protect yourself? Because any two of my guys are lethal. So grappling back. Well, I guess we'll see. Bringing back. It's got to be something pretty spicy here. Wait, what did you return? Rancid Rats. All right, so they have something else. Oh, man. I see. Okay. All right. Okay. That's, you know, honestly, that could have been worse. That definitely could have been worse for us. All right. Let's bash Areno for... Let's see, if I bash for 3 and play this... we don't need the land. Oh, man. That's real bad for us. The worst part is... Man, that was not the top deck we wanted to see, ladies and gents. That is not the top deck we wanted our opponent to see. I can't even discard a card to make a trade. Oh, bummer. Oh, bummer. All right, what do you got for me, deck? Something? Grapple, bringing back... Let's see. I can do Scavenger and then bring back Shrill Howler. That's pretty good. Well, why don't we just grapple, because we can also find something else, potentially. All right, well, let's bring back the Scavenger, and then we get to bring back Shrill Howler. So let's do that. Let's play it. Get back the Howler. Could actually be Elite, huh? Never mind. What's Elite right now? 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures in yard? So it's a 3/3 versus a 3/1. But the 3/1 can get bigger. We're going to bring back Howler. Well, at least our opponent can't flip it. That's good news. Ooh. That's pretty good too. So we can throttle the Stag, and that forces our opponent to block with Captive here. That's pretty slick. Cost 7 to flip, my friend. My opponent wanted to pay the cost there. No, you cannot. Jeez, that was a tight game. That was a tight game. So, yeah, me and my opponent stole a lot of good cards from each other. He stole our mysteries. They stole a rabbit bite, a crop sigil. I guess crop sigils, whatever. Ruthless disposal, somber waltz act, more captives, grapples, scavengers, prey-upons. And then we stole cobalts, concoction, deadweight, elite, scavenger, graph rats, borrowed malevolence, shrill howler. So we just really robbed each other blindly there in this draft, but that's all right. We both ended up with pretty good decks, I think. Like, I'm not unhappy with my deck. Didn't see any flyers out of our opponent. Didn't see any enchantments or artifacts. No, I saw the Geistfield Scarecrow. It's not worth bringing in Ritual for, though. So I think we'll leave it the same and try her out again. So no green mana, which does make this hand a bit worrisome. How many cheap black spells do we have? So we have Malevolence, Deadweight, Skeleton, Concoction, Graph Rats. I'm thinking of actual, like, useful ones. The 4 1-drops are all useful. Graph Rats, Wailing Ghoul, Condemned would be useful. We've got some pretty good draws here. Having 2 green cards in opener is pretty awkward, but I think we're going to keep on the draw. I mean, it's not like we're a beatdown deck, so I don't think it matters all that much. All right, well, perfect. What more can you ask for? Ooh, Noose Constrictor, there's a good one. Ooh, Mindbender, you say? Well, we got a turn 4 Mindbender on the horizon. That's exciting. So let's end of our opponent's turn, play the Grapple into the Morn Willow. Huh. All right. Let us grapple. Let us grapple. So, land only. All right. No choice. Another land. All right. It's a bit worrisome. No Delirium, unfortunately, but we do have a turn 4 Mindbender, which is a real game flipper. Tends to flip games. Hopefully our opponent doesn't Rabbit Bite this Morn Willow, because our opponent does not know about the Mindbender, which is good. Kind of preferred them not attacking there, but unfortunately, I need my Morn Willow more than they need their Noose Constrictor. That is for sure. All right, so let's... So there's still a couple lands away from jamming that captive, so let's just mind bend. Let's bend some minds here. We got Delirium too, but not currently relevant, and we're close to being out of gas. Well, that's a bit of a problem. I guess, man, all those cards are good. So, yeah. I don't really care about Stag right now. I guess we're going to take the Throttle, because Throttle makes it so our opponent can still attack with Constrictor. At least Disposal comes with more of a cost to take out the Mindbender, whereas the Throttle just lets our opponent swing next turn still. I mean, they can swing and then play Stag and trade, but that's not very good. So let's just get rid of the Throttle, I guess. They can also technically discard something and sack their Scavenger, but whatever. We'll get rid of the Throttle. So our opponent's got 2 really good cards in hand, and we've only got 1 good card. And they have a better board than we do too, so not great. We're gonna have to top deck some magical cards here. So they can deal with our Mindbender, but it comes at quite a cost. And I just want to hold back damage for now, because we're going to be throttling that Ulvenwald captive. I think we sort of have to. Although, I mean, I guess I can block a 4/6. But I can't block a 4/6 and then... Well, actually, that's not that terrible. I block a 4/6 and then they play stag. They still lose their stag. Alright. So, yeah, we're probably just going to have to... So if my opponent gets a land, they can flip captive. And they may do it on their turn. Let's just throttle this now. Because if I play the captive, they're going to just stag it. So let's just deal with the captive. I basically have to have, what, 9 mana? Well, the way our hand's looking, that does not seem impossible. I guess I could have attacked with Mindbender there, right? Yeah, I probably should have. Just traded 5 for 2. Yeah, I guess that would have made sense. So yes, I should have attacked. The good news is they can't kill our captive now, and we get to boost it next turn. Unhallowed as well. Okay, well, this is actually pretty nice. So we'll play the Unhallowed. We'll swing with the Mindbender. Opponent double blocks. They also have to discard. Our opponent's going to have Ruthless Disposal, I just realized, but we're just going to have to let that happen. So our opponent sacks the Scavenger, discards a card, gets rid of our Unhallowed and our Mindbender, I'm assuming. And then we're still left with a captive, which should be okay. Okay. We still have Macabre Waltz here. Keep that in mind. Oh, I actually sacked the Constrictor because of Delirium. I guess that makes sense. Alright, we take a lot of damage here. Alright. Can't trade 4 for 7. I guess I should have just flipped. Thankfully, it did not come back to bite us. Alright. Well, there's a thing. So how much? I've got 7 lands. What does 8 lands give me? Nothing, really. So we'll just sandbag these lands for a rainy day. Basically, Macabre Waltz or Sinister Concoction, or both. Ooh, that's scary. Ooh, that was a timely top deck. I mean, I guess I could have... I can't really attack with Abomination. I couldn't have attacked with Abomination. I can't afford to trade 6 for 7. If I had attacked that one turn with the Mindbender, I guess my opponent would have had me at a lower life total, though. So we'll deal with the Dusk Feaster. We lost a Foul Bloods, which would have been actually pretty nice here. Would have been able to eat one of our opponent's cards. All right. So now they have a... Looks like... Well, they don't have lethal, though. If I miss here, and which I did. We're still not dead. Pretty close, though. Alright, so we'll eat Hexproof Dude. Take 7. Ay, Chihuahua. All right, on to game 3 we go. If only we'd milled a sanitarium skeleton there, right? All right. So what? Anything in game 3? Clip wings for Dusk Feasters, not a terrible idea. Really don't have well, I mean, we have the concoction, we have the certain death. Maybe that's enough. I don't want to bring in a clip wings for 1 card. All right, let's do it again. Would like to play first. Yeah, we'll keep this. It's a lot of lands, obviously, but grapple can help with that. And as long as we rip some spells, we're in good shape. All right, let's play the Condemned. Don't really want to trade a Graph Rats for the worst card in my opponent's hand. But I will trade a Condemned and a land for if my opponent wants to discard something. So we're going to block the Constrictor. All right. We'll do it 2. If our opponent wants to discard 2 cards, so be it. All right. So maybe our opponent's got the Groundskeeper, which would be a problem. All right. Foul Blood, sure. Ooh, Mindbender. God, I wish I could play you right now. Guess next turn, baby. Next turn. So I almost don't want to use the grapple so I can bring back Mindbender if they have an answer for it. But yeah, you know, honestly, I can do that. But then I can't. No, I guess I can't because I want to trade the Foul Blood for the Graph Rat. All right. I think we got a grapple here. So Mornwillow, Captive, Condemned. Captive's got the highest upside, so I think we're going to return that, which means we can't trade our Graph Rats for the Foul Blood, but we can afford to take 5 damage next turn and still be okay and rip our opponent's hand apart, ideally. So we'll return the Captive. I think Captive's just got higher upside. Plus Prey Upon? Huh. Alright. I mean, we're taking a lot of damage here. Our card, really the the heart-wrenching part of this is that my opponent's got one card left in hand, so even the early distended Mindbender's just not going to do anything now. So our opponent just basically successfully completely emptied their hand. That's all right. That's all right. So let's play Captive, let's play Foul Blood and pass. If only we had Delirium. If only. So if our opponent can get Delirium now, Foul Blood's going to go to town. So they got Delirium, which is exactly what we didn't want. So they return the Stag. So at least we get to rip that out of our opponent's hand, I guess. But it's really just not what I want here. So the depressing part, too, is can I afford to... I really can't afford to take 6 damage here. That's the sad part. So I think I have to trade... Man, that's bad. If I double block this, I lose both, so I can't do that, obviously. If I block the Constrictor, he'd have to discard both cards to keep it alive, which I don't think they'll do. I just can't afford to take 6 because it's a 2-turn clock. So if I just take 6 here and then play Mindbender off my Captive, it's kind of bad either way. It is bad either way, isn't it? All right, I think we're just going to trade this off. It's not good. Man. All right. Wish this was better. I mean, we get Stag, which is cool. Well, we got both his cards. So the good news is we ripped his hand apart. Bad news is we got a Menace Dude that we can't block, and we're on a 2-turn clock. So we have to draw a creature immediately. And our opponent gets to draw more on top of that. And our opponent's at 20, and we're at 8. So it's a lot of ands that aren't good. And we're just sandbagging the land because if I draw Concoction, I need to be able to use it immediately. Actually a reasonable draw for my opponent, but I could think of worse things, so not a huge deal. Like Dusk Feaster, and we would have just been put away. But we're dead if we don't draw a creature or a removal here. Oh, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you appreciated the draft. Hope you enjoyed it. We are going to be back shortly for another one. And thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you soon.